are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into another episode of the Locked On Rays podcast. My name is Ulises Sambrano, live from Fukuoka, Japan. And Kevin Weiss might be sleeping. He also does not sleep a lot, so maybe he's still awake. And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. Please make sure to subscribe and follow us on any social media, X, Twitter, however you call it, Instagram, podcast platforms. You can subscribe to them, review it. 5 stars would be nice. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you're there already, go ahead and hit that like button. It'll help us reach more Rays fans that might not be in tune with our content. And if you like it, they might like it too. And so our community grows. Okay, so first off, if you see something on my chest that you do not like that I'm wearing, I understand. But I hope you understand too that it's laundry day today here. So I don't have a lot of options. So I'm going to try not to move too much so you don't see anything in the chest that you might not like to see. There you go. It might say something that might bring bad memories, but this is where we are in laundry day, people. So I hope you're okay with that. And for today's show, we will be having a mailbag show. And this time I'm going to do it a little bit different as I am doing the show myself. I know we said Kevin would be doing it, but we are doing our best to do division of labor while we are in different time zones. And so that's where we are right now. He's handling the interviews due to the time zone. So the interviews that he's doing, then I can do the solo episodes. So I hope you're okay with back-to-back Uli episodes. Today is going to be a mailbag, and as you can see on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, we've got many topics because that's where we're going to change it up for today's mailbag. We're just going to have a few more questions than usual. And the first one is actually a voice memo from our friend Christian Fenner. I think he goes by Dingers TV on Twitter. He's pretty active on there. So let's see what he has to say.
All right, this is my question for y'all. So as of right now, I don't know when this podcast is in the air. Obviously, we don't know much about Wander. And, let's just say he gets found, they find something, and he's suspended or he, never plays again. Do you think that kind of taints the call-ups, the future call-ups of Caminero and Carson Williams, and it'll always be known as the people that had to live up or replace Wander? Because I'm going to have a hard time not thinking about Wander whenever we see these prospects compared to if Wander was playing alongside them. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you, Christian, for that question. Wow. I'd have to say in this hypothetical scenario, because that's what it is, because nobody knows anything right now, I would have to say it's understandable for Rays fans' minds to go there right now. I think Osleivis Basabe is going to get the brunt of that because he's immediately the next guy. And I think Kevin likes to say this. Kevin has really good zingers like this. I don't know if he comes up with them or he just hears them, but he does say, you don't want to be the guy that replaces the guy. You want to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaced the guy. So we just played the Yankees, right? So you don't want to be the guy that replaces Derek Jeter. You want to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaced Derek Jeter. In this case, Osleivis Basabe has it tough, and I think with what Christian is trying to portray, yeah, our minds might go there. I think that's right now, though. Again, we don't know anything. Wander could come back. We don't know anything. So this might just be a moot point. But in this hypothetical scenario where Wander doesn't come back, I think for the short term, yes, you're right, Christian. I think a lot of Rays fans would do the association with their brain. Oh, what could have been this? You would think of Wander when you think of Junior Caminero or Carson Williams or Osleivis Basabe, but it's like, don't think about the pink elephant. What is your mind going to think about? It's going to think about the pink elephant. So I do think, though, in the long run, that's going to dissipate. That because, first of all, we all know how sports, man, time goes real quick and time heals all wounds. I mean, it's nuts. The cycle, the news cycle in sports. If news cycles for like politics and stuff like that, it happens rather quickly. People forget after 72 hours the big thing that happened. In sports is even it's even faster, I think. People move on rather quickly. It's go go go. So I think for Rays fans, it'll for the short term, if that were to happen and Wonder doesn't come back, I think the association would be there just because we're human beings and our brains operate with association. But I think with time, they will make their own lane. Osleivis Basabe will make himself Osleivis Basabe by his play, and he will not. You won't have to think about Wander if that were to happen, and same thing with Carson Williams or Junior Caminero. But really good question, man. Good question, and like always, we really appreciate the voice memos. So thank you for doing that. And you guys, if you want to participate, always you can just record it on your phone, your voice memo, and then just email it to us at lockedonrace@gmail.com. And you'll be on the show. You get your voice on the show. We like hearing different voices on the show, wherever you're from. Ooh, Christian, I think you're from Tampa, though. So I think I'm gonna give you a pass because I think you're from the Tampa Bay area because you were in FanFest, and I think we talked in FanFest. So I'll give you a pass. But yeah, when you get your voice memo on, just tell us where you're from, where you're contacting us from, and that's really cool. So everybody in the Locked On Race community can kind of say, wow, that they care about the Rays there. That's pretty cool. So we'll get to way many more questions. I have to tell you, though, about Sleeper. And you know about Sleeper because we've been talking about Sleeper for a while. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world. 5 million active users in 2022, which is ridiculous, while earning some of the highest levels of engagement per user in the industry. At Sleeper, it's not just about sports, it's about building personal connections and lasting memories. So if you use promo code Locked On, Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. So again, I'll say it. First-time depositors can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 using promo code Locked On. What's the promo code? Locked On. Wait, can I swing for the fences with promo code Locked On at sign up and I'll get a deposit match up for up to $100? Yeah, you will. And Sleeper, it's pretty cool because you can win up to 100 times the payout. You can place in-game contests and more stat categories to place contests on, such as home runs, triples, stolen bases. You think it, you'll have it. And the dynamic payouts are live. You can, what are dynamic payouts, Ulises? Well, in short, each player projection now has a multiplier attached to it, as opposed to preset multipliers based on the number of legs in a contest. So with dynamic payouts, it also comes with more stat categories to place contests on. So you can get higher payouts than other apps with less picks. Does that sound cool? I think so. So if you think that sounds cool and you want to have some fun, then guess what? Download Sleeper today. All right, folks. So for the second and third segment of today's show, we're kind of going potpourri style on these questions. Potpourri. I hadn't said that word in a while. We put out a tweet. I'm not going to call it an X. By the way, I'm not going to call it X. I refuse to. I'm not going to go with like the artist formerly known as Prince. The social media formerly known as Twitter. It's Twitter. All right, fine. There's my rant for today. We put out a tweet a couple weeks ago, maybe 10 days ago, saying if you have a mailbag question, comment below. And so I'm going to go down the list. Number one, OG, friend of the program, Ty McCann. What is your favorite MLB team to watch from the National League and why? Well, Ty, I think you probably know this answer of for both me and Kevin, since you've been a listener for a long time. For me, I came to the U.S. in 2003, for those that don't know. And in 2003, there was a young Venezuelan stud who had just made his MLB debut. And I'm proud to say that I followed his career pretty much nonstop. And that stud was Miguel Cabrera. And being from Tampa, or staying in Tampa, Miami was very, very accessible. So I got to see Miguel playing in Miami a couple times, but that 2003 season was special, and I followed the Marlins in 2003, and Ivan Rodriguez, Pudge Rodriguez, I mean, he was awesome. Ugueth Urbina, also a Venezuelan bump, who's the closer. Jeff Conine, what a stud he was. Juan Pierre, Luis Castillo, Encarnacion. I mean, that team was Mike Lowell, Josh Beckett when he was likable. Yeah, it was a really, really good team. So I kind of had that. I always have that fondness for the Miami Marlins. I don't think there's a big rivalry or anything like that. I don't think the Marlins, hate the Rays either. I think there's like a sibling non-rivalry, maybe like nice cousins, maybe between the Rays and the Marlins. So I would say that's my team. And I don't want to answer for Kevin, but if I had to put green Skittles on Kevin's answer, I think it would be an easy Cincinnati Reds. He's from Louisville, so he saw the Louisville Bats growing up. He saw Deion Sanders, he saw Jay Bruce, Adam Dunn. He saw all those guys. Brandon Phillips growing up in Louisville. I think he got to see a lot of AAA baseball. So I think that would be the answer for Kevin there. Next, Michael Clark at the Hammer 3131. Medium hot take. 2016 Indians lost Brantley, Cookie, Bauer, Salazar, and Gomez. Or Gomes. Yan Gomes? I'm going Yan Gomes. At different points heading into the postseason. I wrote them off. They went to a game 7. Hanging on to the hope we can rally together like that squad did. Yeah. Can it happen? Of course. We are still in the belief that the starting rotation for the playoffs of Glasnow, Eflin, and Savale is as good as any. It can match up to any other postseason big three-headed dog, such as Fluffy, Insert, Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter fans squeak right here. Yeah, but that's it, though. The margin of error has now shrunk to a minimum. You lose one of those guys, Michael, who steps up? Littell? He's been nice. But is he? Are you really putting green Skittles on Littell in the postseason? I don't know, Tosh. We know how bright those lights are in October for young pitchers. Do we not remember 2021? Shane McClanahan out of the bullpen, Drew Rasmussen, Shane Baz. We can't have that short term of a memory, right? It's tough. It's a tough position to put these young pitchers in. So yes, right now we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. But the margin now has shrunk, unfortunately, to basically zero. To have the best of the best. Good question, Michael. And next up is Zach Dabb, longtime friend, also a fellow podcaster now. He says, what's going to be your favorite chapter of the Rays World Series documentary? Working title, They Raise from the Ashes. Nice pun. Good question there, Zach. What's going to be my favorite part of the World Series documentary? Probably the emergence of Osleivis Basabe as a guy that nobody thought that he would be making contributions in the 2023 team, and yet he became an incredibly stable glove at short, who was used sparingly at other positions and could handle himself with the bat enough to not be a hole in the lineup. And honestly, I think if Osleivis can work some a 750 OPS, I mean, that's a win, man. That's a total win. So of course I got to go with my Venezuelan bump there, and Osleivis Basabe. Zach, short break for a sip of coffee. Okay, this is better than instant coffee. I bought this downstairs in the vending machine. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's Georgia coffee, which is the only thing I can read because everything else is in Japanese, of course. But it's delicious. That's way better. Next up, Spitballer 9. Does Franco have an agent? If he does, how come they're not making any comments? Well, Spitballer, I think it's not smart to make comments right now. I think the whole thing is to kind of let the investigation, go through its course. I don't think that you would want to say something that might be taken another way, and then you open a can of worms, and then you guys are misunderstanding me. I meant this for him. I think it's better to be. I don't think you gain anything by saying a statement if you're the agent, and of course he has an agent. So yeah, I just don't think the PR hit of the statement would not be a positive one. On the contrary, so you gain nothing by speaking on the matter. So I think that's why there hasn't been an comment. Mike Reed, if they find evidence on Wander, do you think he gets suspended by MLB? If no evidence is found, do you think he still gets suspended? I mean, if they find evidence, he gone. That's it. I mean, they're not going to find evidence and be like, okay, come back. That's not going to happen. So for the first part of your question, yeah, he's as good as gone. If they don't find any evidence, MLB is a private institution, so I believe they can do whatever they want as long as the MLBPA is on board with it. So could that be a suspension of a year or a day or a month? It could be, but we've never really seen this type of case because it's in the DR, it's not in the US. It evolved from social media allegations that it's being investigated. So I can't speculate too much, man. I don't know. I don't know is the answer, but I wanted to put these out there because you guys are asking about it, and I can just tell you I don't know. I'd rather say I don't know to these questions than just pretend that they're not there. So, I don't know, but I answered 50% of the questions. So if you were a nice teacher, you'd probably give me half credit, but I don't know about if you're a nice teacher or not, Mike Reed, or if you are a teacher, maybe you're not. Next up is Ben McKenzie. Who's your favorite random race pitcher this year? Anderson, La Sorsa, Jose Lopez, Hector Perez, etc. guys who play very few games and then gone into the wind, Ben, that's a good question. Love that. Really liked Lopez. But I would have to. Chase Anderson was great, man, and he got hurt, but while playing with the Rockies picked him up. He was good too. But if you've been listening to this pod enough, I am a sucker for athletes that like to represent their country, their heritage. So it has to be Joe La Sorsa. He represented Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic this year. I loved his fiery passion. His quirky delivery is just awesome. I wish we had the ability to keep him. I think we did. Maybe the Rays, the Rays definitely did not think so, because they could have made other moves at the time that would have kept him in the organization, or not even on the organization, but on the active roster. Like when he pitched, I believe he pitched against the Cubs. He pitched beautifully, man. But again, they have more data than us. They have more insight into the players than us. So, it's ultimately they're going to have more information than the fan. And that has to be understood by the fan base. Like, we can have our arguments. We can have all of that. But at the end of the day, they have more information in the back end than we do. However, but I will go on the other side. However, that does not mean that they're infallible. The Rays front office is not infallible, and no front office in the world, in any sport, is infallible. Ever. They make mistakes because they're human beings too. So it's as long as you're criticizing with arguments and with evidence and with thought, with rational thought, not irrational fan crap, to not use another word, then I think it's always okay to do so. Okay, and last but not least, I really like this one. This might be I'm not going to play favorites here. Okay, I liked all the questions, but this one is good. I think you guys will like that too. Will like it too. Giant fan. So I guess you're from New York. So I don't know if you get minus points for that. Will they ever put a cap on pitcher velo? Great question. No, I don't think so. I don't think they'll put a cap on pitcher velo. I don't think that's I think the pitcher velo is just going to put a cap on itself. Like, maybe I'm speaking like a boomer here, but I don't think okay. I was just going to say, I don't see a human being throwing 110 miles an hour. But let's go back 20 years. Did you guys ever think that you would have seen a slider at 94, at 93, like Shane McClanahan does or Jacob deGrom does? Like, that's silly stuff, right? So could there be a dude that throws up 110? Yeah, I don't see it happening, but I'm also working with 2023 human being information. It can't just keep going up and 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 up forever and ever and ever and ever. It just can't. It's literally impossible. So the human body, I think. Well, then again, records are meant to be broken, and so people are always going to find a niche. And marathon runners are they not breaking records all the time? And long jumps and 100-meter dash, they're always being broken. So you can always do something better, even by a little bit. But maybe that little bit will be decimal points. So if the fastest pitch recorded in 2023 and MLB is like 102, 103, maybe that starts to be 103.8, 103.87, 103.89. But No, to answer the big broad question, no, I don't think they'll ever put a cap on the pitch velo. I think human beings will just put that cap on themselves. And again, you also have to, it's not just like a throwing hard competition. You also have to command the pitch. If you're a Rays fan for a while, you know the name Annie Romero. Dude had stuff. I mean, stuff. And he had the stature, and he had everything that you could ever want to build a relief pitcher. Throwing from the left hand, a lefty. He had it all. But no control, no command. And ultimately that matters. You can't just like put a guy that doesn't know where it's going. I know the analytics nerds are blowing a gasket right now saying it doesn't matter. You can just have stuff. But like, you have to at least have some command. You at least have to have some control. You're not just going to put a guy there that just walks the whole, lineup. So you're going to have to know how to control that velocity. I mean, I know I'm going with a Hall of Fame talent here with Justin Verlander, but Justin Verlander could hit 199 in the 7th inning. Why? Because he would pitch the first 5 innings throwing 95, 96. And then when he really needed it in the 7th or the 8th, then he would throw that extra punch. Maybe pitchers can learn how to do that a little bit better. And if you can throw 103, 104, 105, maybe you keep it at 99, 100 for the first few innings. And do that to kind of not only conserve energy, but also to control the strike zone better. So yeah, that would be my answer to that. At Big Blue Fan _. There you go. Well, that was a lot of fun. I liked going back to back. I hope you enjoyed the questions too. And you know what? Leave your answers on some of these or all of these if you want on the YouTube comment section below. Again, I have to stress how cool it is to see your comments and how you're interacting with each other, responding to each other's comments, and creating that nice familiarity with each other through the virtual world of 2023. Keep it going, guys. And always, like Christian did today, send your voice memo to @LockedOnRays@gmail.com. A hot take, if you have it. Hey, get us your hot take or your comment about a specific scenario of the game, or a Kevin Crash moment that you thought we skipped. There haven't been a lot of Kevin Crash moments this year, which has been very, very nice, and which is expected, right? Because everybody gets better at their job with more time. So that also is true for baseball managers. So again, thank you so much for making Locked On Rays your first listen. Go ahead and make Locked On MLB your second listen. And then make your third listen Locked On MLB Prospects with Lindsey Crosby. You guys really liked that one. The views were nice. And so I'm glad you guys enjoy his takes. He's really a cool guy. So Locked On MLB Prospects, make sure to check that out. Stay safe, and we will talk to you this week with an interview that Kevin did last week. So stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.